proud to be the community publishing industry's premier webcast training series. That's particularly fitting today because our guest, Dan Buendo, appeared on our very first episode with Mark Helmer in a discussion of augmenting your publishing operation by setting up your own media agencies, especially in the digital world. He's back to give us a progress report on that, but more importantly, he's here to show you how you can enjoy the same digital success he has had. How are we looking there, Dan?
Good. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
Couldn't be working better. One more thing before we turn Dan loose. At some point, some of you are going to doubt that you would be able to do what Dan's done in his market. And someone's going to say, I don't have the time, or my people can't do that, or I can't afford to make that kind of investment. And I'm here to tell you, stick around to the end. At this point, don't worry about the obstacles. Just consider the opportunity, and you'll see what I mean. Fair enough? Okay, Dan, it's all yours.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, we have been designing websites since 2003 under our Reminder Web Design brand, and did that for about 7 years, strictly basically designing websites for people. And then back in 2010, launched under our Envision Marketing brand as a full digital marketing agency. And with a team of people, over the years, this is 9 of us. There's several others that are not shown here, some part-timers and things like that. So it's really, the last 5 years has just really exploded for us. What I want to talk about today is just giving you an insight of how we do it and what we've been doing, and how you can hopefully apply that at your paper. So for us, it all starts with web design. Most of the leads are prompted from our house ads and bill stuffers and email blasts that we send out to our customers, and saying, is your website outdated? Do you need a mobile responsive website? Can you not be found by Google? Those kind of attention-grabbing headlines, and the phone rings. Our salespeople do sell our web services, but it's a bit of a challenge. Even here, with as much business as we're doing, most of it does not come from my sales reps. It comes from my paper's house ads and my marketing efforts. And that's either good news or bad news, I'm not sure which. If you want to look at, some of our portfolios and things like that, here's our 2 sites. Again, Reminder Web Design, which was our first brand and still exists and ties into the name of my papers, and then Envision Marketing, we started in 2010. So the services that we offer, again, it all starts with a phone call, typically about, hey, my website's old and I need some help getting it updated. And then once we sell them that, or as we're selling them that, we're having the conversation about their social media and how important it is to be found on Google, and how, phone books don't exist anymore. And oh, by the way, what does the rest of your marketing look like? How old is your brochures and your signage and things like that? And what do your salespeople use when they're out selling? So I'm immediately trying to paint a picture that we can help you with all of these things. And when this is the graphic I will actually use in my proposals. I will tailor it if I know that, a particular client, like a pizza shop, which I'll show you in a minute, like text marketing is real big for those guys. So, I might change one of these blocks to say text marketing. But the thing I also wanted to mention about this particular slide is that this is the world your customers live in. We're just one little spoke of the wheel of trying to sell them a print ad. And one of the biggest benefits I would suggest of why you want to get into this digital marketing business is you want to be as much of a solution to your customers as you can. And ultimately, it protects my print dollars and increases my print dollars when I'm the one having the conversation with them about all their digital dollars. Because I can guarantee you that when the Yellow Page rep who is in there selling this stuff, and now the radio guys and the daily papers are all selling this digital stuff too, if they're in there talking about it, you know, the first thing out of their mouth is, yeah, you're spending $1,000 a month in newspapers. Who reads those things anymore? So they're going to immediately go after your print dollars. Whereas when I'm in there having that conversation, I'm reinforcing the fact that, you know, we still go to 100% of the homes in a 5-mile radius around your store, and nobody else can do that better than us. At any point, if you have questions, please send them through to Bob. I welcome your questions.
Yeah, we've got them coming in already. You've got them stirred up. So,
Okay. Interrupt me at any point, Bob.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Since it's the first one here is topical. We got a question from a production standpoint. Okay, the ads in the paper that you mentioned.
Yep.
Do they say Envision on them or Reminder Web Services?
When they began, they were Reminder Web Design. I didn't have Envision, number one, and I wanted to play off of a 50-year brand that we have. And the other point I would make to that is, you know, there's a lot of web companies out there. Most of them work out of their house or are a real expensive agency, kind of, you know, nothing in between. And we're really, you know, you have brick and mortar, you have brand equity, you have the community's trust, and that's why I started with Reminder Web Design. But along the way, I phased in Envision, and now Envision is really building a name of its own, and I've connected it enough where they know it's us.
Okay. Now, another question that's looking, I think, a little further down the road here. On the SEO and social media parts, will we be going over what Envision's best practices are and their pricing structure? We're looking to start up into the same kind of thing. I think that's
yeah, I will show my pricing. I don't really get into best practices so much. I mean, that could be a webinar in and of itself. A lot of these things here could be a webinar in and of themselves. I'm going to really kind of do highlights, but I can touch base on it definitely.
Okay. Well, those are the two questions that I have so far, and these people got their questions in, they got them answered. That's what we're here for. So don't be shy about that. I'll get out of your way, Dan.
All right. So as I'm presenting a web proposal, I'm setting the stage for trying to get them onto a monthly support plan. And the fact that, you know, just because you have a website doesn't mean anybody's going to find it, you know, so that I'm educating them that the search optimization process is really a complete and separate process from making a nice looking website. And so these are some packages that we have. I purposely do not present pricing initially because I have plumbers that spend $1,500 a month on SEO that had I put, you know, had you asked me going into it, I would have probably, you know, quoted them $299 for a service, you know, but instead when I get in there and do some fact finding and say, well, what is your budget for this stuff? And she said $1,500 a month. I said, great, we can work with that, you know, so so it's this is a different business than, you know, a 2x4 print ad always costs $200. Well, in this case, you know, a 10-page website might be $1,000 or it might be $4,000, and part of it is based on the complexity of it or frankly, the budget the client has. So it's a real different kind of animal. But anyways, essentially, as you talk with them and find out, you know, and present ideas to them about contests that they can do with texting programs or with Facebook, or do they, you know, the benefits of a blog, or, hey, do you have an email list that you've ever used and how many people are on it? And you know, that's an affordable way to market your business. So as we build a plan of like, yeah, we would like to do an email blast once a month. Well, that then sets the stage that, okay, we're going to do SEO for you a couple hours a month. We're going to do updating your Facebook page. That's an hour or two a month. Okay, you don't want a blog, but you do want an email blast. And so it helps build, we're basically selling our time. And so that's kind of how we build the quote as to how much time we're going to quote them. So this is one example here, again, highlighting some of these services. So if they sign on to, let's say, a 5-hour package, which this one's $575 as an example, that time can be applied towards any of our services. So they may need some updates to their homepage, so we're designing new things for their homepage, and that takes 3 hours. And then we're going to do SEO for a couple of hours. And we have a regular routine. You know, there's certain things that have to happen every single month. But you know, we'll get a call and they say, "Hey, I'm going to a trade show, and I have a terrible banner. I need a banner for the show." And so we'll whip up a banner for them. And if that takes 2 hours, then you know it comes out of their quote block of time. And so this is a different approach than I've seen most people take, but it works very well for us. These are the small ends. You know, I do have a 2-hour a month plan, which is $229 a month. That's the smallest plan we'll do. It's 2 hours a month, $229 a month. And I, you know, make it very clear that you can cancel this at any time. You are not locked into it. I'm never going to hold you hostage. You're going to see all of the work we do every time we update a page or do SEO work. We are communicating that to the client all the time, so they see that real work is happening, and we're having discussions about, okay, next month, you know, what's the work that you want us to, you know, we have suggestions, but we're also getting input from them. So it's very interactive. It's all within their own website. Our SEO work is done on page, on site. You know, there's a lot of companies out here. I have a client just this past week. We did his website for him about 4 years ago, and the rep came back in. He's not on one of our monthly plans, and thank God we kind of uncovered it. He was about to sign on with a yellow page company for like $1,500 a month, SEO, but they weren't going to do his website. They were just going to, you know, it was, I guess, pay per click stuff, and you know, they made a good presentation to the customer, and he was about to sign on, and luckily he called us and just said, "Hey, what do you guys do this stuff?" And so we were able to get in there and make a presentation. Bob, keep interrupting me whenever you want.
Okay. Well, we do have a couple more questions with regard to your email list. Do you use your own list, or does the customer compile theirs? How's that usually work in your projects?
No, those are their own list. So you know, for my own marketing, I'm using my own list, but for the customers, I am using their own list, and we help them build that list as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that answers that question. And there's a question about the availability of the slides. Can people get a copy of these someplace? Excuse me.
Yeah. I would say if you want to email me, I can send them right to you directly. And if not, I can also probably put them up on a web page and make them available. But my email is dan@thereminder.com, and feel free to just email me, and I'll send you whatever I can.
Okay, that's our guy. Okay, let's see. I got a couple other ones here, but I don't want to make too big a gap here. Let's go carry on for a while here. And
all right. So this next slide is a two-pronged thing. One is we have this web analysis tool that's you can see on the left here. We punch in their website into this tool along with some keywords and some other information, and it'll literally grade their site on I used to say a 1 to 10 basis, but I found out that some sites are actually a 0. So it's actually a 0 to 10 basis. And then it's looking at all these factors, which hopefully you can see on the left here: search ranking, Twitter, social, their content, are there broken links, how fast is the site, is it mobile, all these different things. Is it using WordPress? Is it using a content management system? And so this is a two-pronged thing. One, it helps us sell. So I'll go in and say, I have a meeting with you, by the way, do you know your search ranking's coming at a 0.0? And I'll actually show them. This is actually about a 20-page report. So it's a great sales tool. It's also a good marketing tool. So you can see this little graphic here that we use in bill stuffers, email blasts, house ads, and we basically market this free web analysis report. And it's a good tool for us. We also do, we'll manage digital marketing campaigns for them. So basically Google pay-per-clicks and Facebook pay-per-clicks. There's not a ton of money in this. I'm essentially only marketing it up a 15% agency commission, which is fine. But they're also paying for my time to manage these. So we'll set them up, we'll design them, we manage it, we give them all the reporting and things like that. So that's really how we're making our money. And the benefit, again, is that you're controlling that discussion. They're probably going to do this stuff anyways. I'm obviously never sitting there saying, well, we should cancel a print ad and do Google clicks, but it's out there anyways. Facebook, I think, is I hate to say it, it's an awesome marketing tool, and I'll show you a little bit of that more in detail in a second. So right here is these are a pay-per-click campaign. This is a pool company that I have, and it's like a little billboard scrolling through the reader's news feed. The cost per click, at least in our market for these campaigns, are running less than 50 cents a click. Google clicks are usually $4 or $5 a click. Facebook knows everything about you, so in this case, we're targeting certain towns, people who are 30 to 50 years old, who have small kids, because those are usually the people buying the pools, and blah, 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 so it's a very targeted campaign. I've got builders who, they'll run a kitchen campaign and then a new home construction campaign, and it's very affordable and very targeted. Mobile text plans. So this is a pizza place I mentioned earlier. It started, we did his website. And then as part of that, now this is a guy who barely did, has not done a ton of advertising over the years. This place has been around for 60 years, and they just started doing a little bit about maybe 4 years ago. But he is on I think it's $359 a month plan, and in addition to the design of the website. But my point here on this one is, so on that monthly plan, one of the things we had said is, how about a texting campaign? So we set up a texting platform for them, and the first thing we did was this text pizza to 90583, so that people can join in. So this graphic here that you're looking at is actually we did table tents for them. So my designer designed this. There was something else on the other side of the table tent, and we got that all squared away for him, and those are on all his tables. And then we set up this web page here so people can actually join, right from his website. If they hit text and save, they could join up right from here. What we have running now, which I could show you a little later, is a trivia contest. So we have a summer trivia contest. So again, my designer created this summer trivia graphic, and we made some new things for his tables. And it just started last week, and we do a new winner every Friday. So just a few minutes ago, we were in there. He's had 158 new people just in the last week that participated and opted into his texting, list. And he's real happy with that. So those are texting and trivia contests and things like that. Again, Bob, interrupt me whenever you want. Mobile responsive websites is another hot button. That's Google changed their algorithms back on April 21st. So if a site is not mobile responsive, it actually will hurt their search engine rankings. So that's been a good hot button for us to sell people on why they need to update their website. We also do mobile apps, and that gets into some of the bigger accounts, but it's not a lot of money. We can do these things. Doesn't have to be thousands of dollars.
Dan.
Yep.
Okay, we had a quite a flurry of activity around the web and the website analysis tool.
Yep.
I think some of these are the same question, but okay, is there a vendor that you use for the web analysis report? A specific?
Yes, I use SiteBeam. I think it's SITE Beam, and I think it's .net, not .com.
Is that Beam BEAM?
Yes, SITEBEAM, and I think it's .net.
Okay.
It's like $50 a month, I think.
Okay, that's the next question was, is it a website that anyone can access or is it proprietary? I think that probably answers that question. And
there are free versions of that out there. They don't give you quite the detail, but there are free versions of other and similar ones.
Okay. I think that answers all the questions about the website analysis tool.
Okay. All right. So, the majority, we have probably 50 accounts that are on monthly plans with us. Most of them, are less than $500 a month. But the good news is there's probably 5 or so of them that are more than $3,000 or $4,000 a month. So some of you have seen this slide before, and luckily the same people are still on the slide. I have the pool company that I saw earlier, the local hospital, and let's go to this one. This is one we picked up last year. This is a chain of convenience stores. This is not in my market. This is not a newspaper advertiser. This is just somebody who needed a new WordPress website, and we were there to deliver it for them. They are on about a $3,500 a month, retainer with us, and we do everything for them. So they have all kinds of store signage. Every month there's, 2-for-1 deals and Gatorade and, Coke and Pepsi and milk and all this stuff that they have, window clings. And, we do, a lot of it is just design work. It's not, all web-based, but we did recommend a texting program for them, a mobile app. The website is about to actually launch. It's still the old site right now. We're about to launch the new one, which is what you can kind of see in the background here. I kind of covered it up a little too much. But, even on a smaller level, and I'll show you in a minute another client where there's promotions and ideas you can bring to the customer. This was one for this convenience store we talked about for 4th of July about how about a, Star-Spangled Burger, and you could do a little special deal, a package deal for $5 or whatever. So they said, look, yeah, we love that idea. So this is, my designer was actually out cooking this burger and doing this photography yesterday, and, just put this thing together. This just went over the client yesterday for approval.
Dan?
Yep.
Okay, just to confirm, because I think there might be some question in some people's minds, like an account like this Henny Penny, how much revenue were you getting from this account when you were just a publication?
0.
That's it.
They're out of my market. They're about an hour away. They are not a print customer.
So this just opens up a whole new world of prospects.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. We have a few of those, that are on the fringes. The pool company, well, I'll do that one in a second. The hospital was a occasional advertiser. My print rep at the time actually generated this lead. So this is one that did come from the rep, and this one's a $4,000 a month account. again, it started where they needed a new website, but when we got in there and presenting that, hey, we do all these other services. For example, this is their annual report. So we do the graphic work on all of that. They have all kinds of like elevator signage and, stuff throughout the hospital and handouts and brochures, and we do a lot of that stuff for them all under that retainer. But it started because they're like, our website is old and they needs, and that was kind of the door opener of how we got in there. The pool company, the same thing. This Giuliano's Pools was an occasional advertiser. He bought another pool company, this Drunowski Pools, right in our market, and they needed a new website. So as I was I had no idea how big they were. This is a $10 million pool company. So I was showing them that graphic I showed you earlier of, hey, we also do all this pay-per-click stuff and all this other stuff. And he kind of just stopped me mid-sentence and he said, so if I give you $2,500 a month, can you help me market both of my locations? And I said, absolutely. And so we do all of this, and he had said he's working with some other company, but he just didn't. He's local. He trusted us. He liked the fact that he drives over here. He meets right with my web designers and right with my marketing people, and he's very particular about what he wants. And he's actually spending about double that because he is very particular and his stuff looks really nice, and he sells a lot of pools because of it. This one, he's been with us about 2 years. This past year, we just did all of his media planning. So he has about a $300,000 advertising budget, which goes between Mass and Connecticut. And this was a billboard design that we did. There's a corresponding TV commercial that looks just like this that went along with it. So we got everything so it looks the same, and it's been an awesome account. On the smaller level, this is a little Italian deli up the street. Again, did his website, but as we started talking to him, on his site, you'll see it's got like a homepage slideshow of sorts. And it's a great opportunity for us those slides need to be updated, and they need to reflect what's going on. In the holidays, he sells 1 million gift baskets. So we designed a gift basket one and a gift certificate one. And now it's graduation time, so guess what? We had to design a catering one. He's got this summer concert series. He was doing a cooking class one along the way, So his site, he gets thousands of visitors to his site, and now it's fresh and it always looks nice. And so he needs to be on a monthly plan for us to do that. This is a total non-print customer. This is a guy that lives in town, reads the reminder, saw that we do web design. It's a sheet metal manufacturing or whatever. He does, that kind of stuff. It's not a print customer. So he did his website and then said, well, how old's your brochure? And it was 1 million years old. So we designed a brochure. And then, this is a trade show banner that you're looking at over there. So again, he's on a small monthly plan. He's on like a 3-hour a month monthly plan. We do SEO, but then we also do stuff like this when he calls. All right, questions.
Okay. Yeah, we got a couple here, and strangely enough, it comes up with the slide that you just showed there. How many full-time employees do you have to fulfill all these design and digital products?
At least 9. So there's 9 of us. If I knew how to get back to that slide, I could attempt to do that here. Okay. All right. So, whoop. Okay.
Been there, done that.
Now, most of you probably know Barb Perry. She is my right-hand person with this stuff. She's on this full-time now that Doug is doing our print stuff. These 3 are probably the core, real core of it. Leo's an awesome graphic designer. He's doing all that billboard work and that stuff. And then Alan and Nancy are web designers. We keep them locked up in the back. And then, these people are account managers who are doing the social media and SEO and that kind of stuff. So, going to this last, or one of these last slides that I have here, yeah, where do you start? It's got to start with you. It's got to start at the top. You got to make a commitment that you're going to actually do something about digital. I do a very bad job on banner ad sales and all that other stuff. I can't help you there, but I can definitely help you here. There's serious money in this. So for me, it was like, all right, 5%, and then we got to 10%. We're now over 30% of my print. Digital is 33% of my sales now, and my print number has not gone down. It's remained pretty much flat. So it's true growth. What do you need? You need a good web designer, either on staff, which can be expensive, or find yourself a freelancer, or outsource. And I apologize because I wanted to start with this comment that, I will help anybody with any question they have, just ask. But I also will, love to work with your company in providing these services, because we can help you be up and running instantly. And we're doing that with several papers, but I'll hold that back for a second. You have graphic designers already. Leo was one of my newspaper people. He was my best newspaper, designer. And as we got busier and busier, I moved them over, and now he's full-time on this stuff. Actually, Nancy, who was on there, she was my initial web designer, was first designing ads. She was also one of my graphics people, but she was doing websites on the side, and now she does it full-time for me and doesn't do paper ads anymore. Search optimization's a little trickier. You've got to make sure you're, doing proper techniques and doing a service to your customers. But it's a very important product because it's a hot button for customers. In our case, every account is assigned an account manager along with Barb or myself to service the account, because they're looking for ideas, they're looking for creativity. And then the other part of it, that it's that kind of that invisible thing, is that techie server guy, again, locked up somewhere, because you get into funky stuff. It's like, well, I just want to design a website, but they need these email accounts, and they have a screwed up situation, and if their email goes down, believe me, you're going to hear about it. So you need somebody who can do that techie kind of stuff. And for me, I think the message to you guys that we all overlook is that our newspapers work. I have built this business on house ads. You'll run them, and guess what? There's weeks you don't get any calls. But then there's weeks where you get 3 calls. And, you're not going to do 30% of your print sales, overnight. I've been at this for however many years, 12, 13 years or whatever. But it does work. Your papers work. And then if you're email blasting to your advertisers who trust you and who have a relationship with you, and then you hit them with a bill stuffer, again, your phone will start ringing. And just one little, comment on our own services. So I fought this urge for many years. Bob's been telling me, you really should help publishers do this for them, and I kind of fought it. Last year, Rick from The Advocate in Dallas approached me after one of the conferences and said, hey, will you just do this for us, And I finally said, yeah, why not? So we've been working with Rick in Dallas. This is actually a new one, same thing that just signed up. These guys are from San Antonio. So this is a site we built for the newspaper. We built it for free. We've had to seed it with our portfolio to get started because they don't have any portfolio. But within 2 or 3 weeks, they were in the digital business. And essentially the way I've worked with these guys is anything that we're quoting, we're factoring in at least a 35% markup for the newspaper. So they run a house ad, the person calls and they say, yeah, my site's, old, I need some help. They set up a call with me and the paper and the customer, and we do a conference call and make a presentation, and it's working. We've got again Rick in Dallas. I've got another client in Hartford, Connecticut, and now these guys in San Antonio. So we've had some excellent sales in Dallas. We've got a plumber, like that plumber story I was telling you earlier at $1,500 a month. That's the one from Dallas, and several other accounts as well. So, other questions?
Okay, the only other question I've got right now, we could get some more in here, is some smart aleck from Chicago who wants to know where the snow is in the pool pictures in Massachusetts. And I don't know where somebody from Chicago gets off busting on Massachusetts about the weather, but that's that. But I do have something to insert here. I assume everyone knows what I was talking about before when I said if you don't think you can do this, hang around till the end because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I had to twist this guy's arm to even talk about the fact that he would use this webinar to talk about the help that he can give you. But basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can have Dan Buendo's team on your team to do these things in your market. Dan's a rising tide lifts all the boats kind of guy, and that's what he's talking about here. I know he's shy about talking about it, so I won't ask him for another comment, but that's a fact. Um, let's see. We don't. Wait a minute. Okay, the only other question I have here that I don't think we've already answered is, does this steal any print dollars?
Um, no, in my opinion, absolutely not. My reps would, it's definitely a concern of the reps. It always is. I think it's one of those hesitations. But we just try to educate them on, do you think if you don't talk to them about a website that they don't know they exist and that they're not going to do it with somebody else, So again, my conversation with the customer, and they think if they open a Facebook page, they never have to, they're going to go viral and they can never have to spend $1 on marketing ever again, So you really do have to educate people on, no, it really doesn't work that way. Just because you're going to have this beautiful site, it doesn't mean anybody's going to find it, So, but no, I don't think it does. I think, obviously I guess there is some of that, but that's the world we live in. And why not? It might as well go to you instead of somebody else,
Okay. Do you have a slide there, Dan, with your phone number and email address and all that on it?
Yeah, yep, sorry. Here we go here. It's going to go to the end, I think, here. I'll have to get PowerPoint training later. Oh, I missed it. I'll just leave it like that. But yeah, you can either email me at my Envision account or get in touch with Barb. She's on vacation this week, or next week, but she'll be around after that.
In the meantime, this is Bob Munn speaking for the IFPA Board of Directors saying, the future doesn't start tomorrow. It begins right now, this minute, with whatever you plan to do today. There's still plenty of time today to make some money for your customers, and you're just the folks to do it. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for stopping by.